Stay tuned. To get back on the serious podcast note, I'm going to start us off. We're going to go with the NFC East, and we will start out. I don't know how about these guys out. I have organized it from weakest to strongest, and so guess which one we're going to start with, boys?
Oh no.
NFC East.
Boo.
Which one do you
Surely
think?
not.
Come on. All
Cowboys.
right, it's good.
Cowboys
Good guess.
suck.
All right. Sadly, they are not. And we are going to start with the New York Giants.
Oh, y'all are
And
sleeping on Giants.
That's a lot
I
of
thought you
losses.
said you were starting with the weakest, not the strongest.
this is the weakest. They are going to be 3 and 14.
Jeez.
But
That's
you guys
tasty.
know I love New York, so we will give them a little bit of love. But let's bring it into to focus why we think that this is. So we'll start right off the bat. Washington loss, Cowboy loss. You think they're going to beat the Chiefs? I don't think so. Chargers
No.
loss. Now week 5 is interesting because they meet an equally terrible team with the New or how do you pronounce that? New Orleans Aints? The Aints. That's the team name. The Aints. So you'll notice that these are L's. Why isn't this a W? Well, in this sad team, even the wins aren't wins. They're just check marks that they're not losses. That's how bad this team is. I mean, what do you guys think when you sign a terrible Russell Wilson and he's your starter?
Mm.
As a Pittsburgh fan, I couldn't have wished him the better of his days outside of Pittsburgh and was happy that he was gone. But he is not a good quarterback anymore. But if you go down the list, I mean, this is a tough division. You know they're not going to beat the Eagles. And it doesn't matter if they're home or away. They're going to lose. Denver's a great team. I don't see them beating Denver in Denver. It's not likely. Back-to-back losses with the Eagles. You know, you can go down the schedule, and they'll even get a loss at your Bears, Dabs.
Heck yeah, man.
That's going to be a tough
Boo!
game. I think they're going to play it. I'm going to say the spread on that game is probably less than 3 points. I think it's going to be probably a point and a half to the Bears. You guys are free to disagree, but personally, I think it's going to be a close game.
Caleb's
We'll
gonna
see what
paint his
happens.
nails blue.
I think when they play the Packers, they're going to get ran through a buzzsaw. Same thing with the Lions. They maybe pick up a win at the lowly Patriots, but rest of the loss. Now, here's an interesting thing. I think they do end on some good news. I think that they will split the season with the Cowboys.
Hmm.
So, any objections before we move on to our next
I think
pseudo
you're dead
team?
on, man. Giants suck.
They are terrible.
So
All right.
I'll play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Because I may like the Giants a little bit more than I did when they started the season. Because when they started, like when we first did this, I'm like, yeah, the Giants are in contention for the worst team in the league because they also have one of the toughest schedules in the league. But I feel like the Giants will have arguably the best defensive line in the league. Um, you bring in Abdul Carter as number 3 pick. You have Dexter Lawrence. You have um, Kevon Thibodeau, and as well as Brian Burns. They're going to have a nasty defensive line.
Hmm.
Jackson Dart looks like a dog in preseason. If Cam Scatterbo and Tyron Tracy end up being a good running back duo, this team, I think, I'm fine with the record prediction, but I think this team will make all of these games at least interesting. With just some of the talent they have, and I didn't even say Malik Neighbors. Malik Neighbors is on this team. Like they're gonna have plenty of talent to be in a lot of these games, but easily they will lose as many as you're saying. It's gonna be a tough season for them. I'm just saying I think there's bright spots in the future.
Yeah, I mean, they are
agree.
loaded with talent, or I wouldn't say they're loaded with talent. I think they definitely possess talent.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and these are professional athletes, so let's give them their credit and their due. This is just terrible compared to the other elite teams. We should
It is a
probably
tough
state
division.
that.
Yeah, it's a tough
Tough,
division. They have a really
tough
tough
sport.
schedule. I share the sentiments you do there, Greeny, because I really think their defensive line is it's not slept on. It's already touted as above average, even at this point, with Abdul Carter just being a rookie. I think it's really going to be something to watch, but the offense is gonna be lacking. So I think you've got it pegged with the record there, but they're gonna keep things closer than I think than we're thinking.
Yeah. And this is, I mean, keep in mind, this is a fantasy football podcast. So when we talk about the team, there's a separation between what value you can get out of the team, out of the individual players. You get a ton of value out of Tracy. I think Scatabo is going to be a great sleeper. And Neighbors is on another level. There's definitely players to pick up if you still haven't had your draft yet, or maybe could possibly pull off a trade. But
Three
as far
separate
as
injuries
real
for
team,
Neighbors though right now.
that's true. Well, let's move
Now-
on, keep things moving, and roll on to this other team called the Dallas Cowgirl Boys.
Jerry.
Sorry, had a brief Jerry Jones old man moment where I thought they were called the Cowgirls. They don't deserve any kind of fanfare here in my book. I think you can kind of see I've got nothing nice to say about them. I never will, as long as they're owned by Jerry Jones, who continually runs
Yes.
that team to the ground.
Preach.
And I think it's, as a Steelers fan, George Pickens had unquestionable talent. Like you can't there's no sensible argument to say that he is not a good, talented receiver. However, going to the Cowboys was a perfect fit for him because
Yes.
they look at the entire history in recent years, at least of my memory. That's the type of environment that welcomes those kind of diva receivers. You guys agree?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So rather than going line by line, you can kind of see on the screen which ones win losses. That I think. I think their best win will probably come at the Raiders. I think the Raiders will be a good team. I wanted to throw them a little bit of sensibility in there. I think they will get one or two signature wins. I don't think it's going to be a season to write home about.
Yeah, I totally agree with this. Like Dallas, the only thing they can hang their hat on this season is they're gonna probably throw the ball just about as much as anybody in this league. So their passing offense will be fun with CD and George Pickens, but other than that, especially if Micah gets traded, this team has not a lot of fun to talk about.
I mean, who's their starting running back right now? Is it Javonte Williams?
Yeah.
I mean,
It
who
is
gives a
Oh,
Yeah.
who gives a crap?
And what Jaden Blue, I think, is behind.
Jaden
him.
Blue, he's the deep sleeper in
no.
fantasy.
Miles Sanders is behind him.
Yeah,
All
that's right.
Sanders is on the
Yeah.
Cowboys. Lord.
Javonte, then Miles, then Jaden Blue. That's incredible.
Jaden Blue, yeah,
Listen.
Jaden Blue might be a good deep sleeper, but I don't
I'm
know. It might be
calling
on
it
our
now.
sleeper
Jerry
podcast.
is going to sign Micah Parsons before the year. This is the same crap that happened with
No.
Zeke Elliott. Remember?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
They do all their business. They do all their business. They wait to the very last second. The Bengals do the same thing. They're going to do the same thing with Trey Hendrickson. Side point.
Yeah.
Parsons ain't going anywhere, dude.
It's a
He's going to
business.
the Packers.
It's a business move. It is designed to create an increased market value for themselves. He's not going anywhere.
Well,
He's going right back.
But the thing is these guys are businessmen. They're quote unquote businessmen. But look what they did with CD and Dak. Just those two guys alone. I think maybe one other guy when they signed him there a few years ago. It cost them an extra $66 million because they decided to wait. So I'd love to see what the number is that they were talking about before now,
If
for
if they
Micah
would have
Parsons,
signed
how much they lost.
if they would have signed him at the end of last year, the market was at 35 million, and now it's at 41 million.
Yeah. So
So
they've lost 6 mil on top of the fact that Micah Parsons is a generational talent. So they have to do this. They have to sign him to more money than anybody else gets. He's gonna lead it. He's gonna be the highest paid non-quarterback.
By the way, I told everybody that we should try to keep everybody at 10 minutes. I'm realizing we might need 10 minutes per team the way that this goes. So we'll just try to keep it brief anyway. But moving on into teams that I actually want to talk about. I don't know why. I really like Washington.
I love Washington.
I like them as a team.
yeah,
I don't know what they want to call themselves.
Underdogs. They've lived an underdog lifestyle.
I like calling the football commander skins. We'll find out what if they ever go back. I'd love to see them called the Redskins again. That's what I grew up watching, and that's what subconsciously I'm always going to call them. But I think that they are loaded with talent. They just keep getting better ever since they kicked out Dan Snyder as the owner. I mean, it was just like instant takeoff from kicking out that guy. Yeah, good riddance. And I'm sure that they would say the same thing. They have a really tough schedule. Going through this and giving the wins losses wasn't easy. I think their loss against the Chiefs, I'm going to give it to the Chiefs just because it's a Monday Night Football. It's away. It's in Kansas City. That one's going to be a tough one to win, but I think they might drop one or two. The Chargers and the Falcons, they may drop those. I could be wrong on it. They could easily go into week 5 and 6 being undefeated. Who knows? I do think that they're going to sweep the Cowboys. I think they're going to sweep the Giants in their division, but I don't see them necessarily beating the Eagles. They could, but it's tough to say, yeah, I think they'll win this or that. The Eagles are just too good.
Yep.
And I think that they'll just easily Super Bowl contenders to go back to back. So we'll move on to those Eagles. A lot of wins here. I don't see a ton of losses, and the losses, by the way, Greeny, I don't know if you've seen this. Every Green Bay, I've given Green Bay a 4-0. How many times are they going to play? However, 3-0 record. 4-0. Yeah, because
I'm very surprised by this.
I am too.
That's horse garbage.
I honestly didn't have this in my record predictions.
No.
I think it's an interesting matchup, though. They played last year in Brazil, right?
And it was close. Yeah,
it was close, and that was the second game of the season.
It was the first game of the season.
It was the first.
I think it was 28-33. The Eagles won, and Jordan Love was driving back to score on him, and then he hurt his knee, and that's how they lost the game.
I wouldn't say that's the only reason they lost, but they are the Packers.
It's a good reason. You
can hang your hat on it.
Sure. Same thing. I think Tampa Bay is a really strong team. I'll show them a little bit of love and say they may drop one here mid-season. I think Baker Mayfield, I want to bring him up as often as possible just out of happiness for him because he left the dumpster fire that is the Cleveland Browns and went to a team where he can thrive. And I think we're seeing that. I mean, that is just the perfect home for him. I like any receiver from a fantasy standpoint on Tampa Bay squad. I think they're going to get peppered with targets. And there's a lot of diversity to spread that ball out. Chris Godwin still got a ton of upside value. Mike Evans, I don't care how old he is, he's still humongous. And
you're taking my talking points, sir.
Okay, well, I thank you for
like he's
really
there. But I think the Eagles easily win this division. It's a slam dunk. Put them put them in the NFC Championship game, and if they're not, color me surprised.
I like it. I like all every bit of it. They're pretty
right.
cut and dry. I don't see them doing anything different than what you said. They may even go with a better record than 13-4. And it wouldn't surprise
They
me
could
either.
very well could.
They're well coached. They've got weapons on both sides of the ball. And they've got weird fans. So they've got all the ingredients to.
That's an understatement.
And Saquon can reverse hurdle, baby.
Yeah.
Nobody else can do it.
Yeah.
He won't stay healthy this year.
Nope.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he takes pretty good care of his body. The one injury that's surprising is AJ Brown.
Yeah.
He is no doubt an elite athlete, but like I said a couple of weeks ago, those hamstring injuries really bother me from a fantasy standpoint because it's limited usage. And they're lingering injuries that just don't go away.
Yeah.
I got hit with Nico Collins last year. What I thought was going to be 1 week, maybe 2 weeks. It turned into him getting put on the IR.
Yeah.
Like that killed 5 weeks of productivity for me, 4 or 5 weeks from Nico Collins. So,
but if you look at their depth chart, there's tons of Qs all over because they've got a ton of injuries. So it's not a great way to start out the season, but let's see if they turn things around.
Yep.
But I think next we're going to go to the NFC North with Dabs. So take it away.
All right, guys. It's a division after my own heart. And
I don't even want to know.
Greeny was so willing to let me do this some way, somehow. I don't know how.
I said neither of us should do it because we can't be biased.
I would have taken it as the unbiased party.
We can't be biased here.
Man. Listen,
let's see. Bears 16-0.
No. So
I think you mean 0-17.
We're not doing that. So NFC North. So last year, this is one of the toughest divisions in the NFL, hands down. There was 3 teams that made the playoffs.
Yep.
Yes, those 3 teams got bounced right off the bat, but that's very rare for a division to get three teams into the playoffs. I think
technically they won the most games in NFL history, right? They had the biggest point differential.
It was up there
in a division.
Yeah,
it was. They won some records.
So here's what I've got as far as my win-loss records go. And so we're going to start with the Vikings first. And I think they're going to regress big time this year. We got J.J. McCarthy as their starting quarterback versus Sam Darnold. He's gone now. So I think they're going to go 8-9 this year. I think they're going to have massive regression. I think McCarthy, when he played for Michigan, it was more of a running game, offense for Harbaugh. And so he's got to come into the NFL. He's got a great coach. O'Connell is killer with developing quarterbacks. So we'll see how they do, but I think this year they're going to struggle. I think McCarthy in his second to third year next year is going to do a lot better, but I think they go 8-9. So here's a quick question for you guys. Out of the 4 coaches, so we've got Kevin O'Connell, we got Ben Johnson, we have Matt LaFleur, and we have Dan Campbell. Who is the oldest coach and who is the youngest coach in this division?
Youngest coach has got to be LaFleur.
Ben Johnson.
Ben Johnson is the youngest.
So,
yeah.
You think?
Ben Johnson is the youngest at 39 years old. Who's the oldest?
I want to say Dan Campbell's the oldest.
I was going to say Dan Campbell.
But it's not that crazy. I don't think he's that old.
He's not. So listen, that's the point I'm making is
he's not that old. He's my age. That's what Dev's going to say.
Exactly, dude. So O'Connell is 40, Ben Johnson's 39, LaFleur is 45, and Campbell's 49. So think about that. I've never seen a division with that many amazing coaches under 50.
Yeah.
That's just unheard of.
And okay, so I have a question just to throw out real quick. We'll try to go through this the quickest. If you were to rank this team by how good their head coaches were, how would it go?
Who's that question open to? Who are you asking?
I would move the Bears down to the bottom, put the Vikings where the Bears are, and I'd leave it that way. I think that Dan Campbell's the best coach out of these 4 coaches.
I agree.
Amen.
See,
I agree.
I personally think Dan Campbell is the worst coach in this division.
Well,
what are you
talking about? I'm going to say this. Ben Johnson is the reason their offense was so good. Dan Campbell is he motivates his guys, yeah, but in terms of like play calling, he does
X's
nothing
and
for
O's.
you. He does
Listen, man,
nothing for you,
it's going to be
dude.
played on the field this year, and we'll find out.
But there's a reason why they talk about him swinging some big old balls in Detroit. Okay, the city loves that man because
They do. They do.
It is not just play calls though. It's a vibe. It's a culture that you bring as a head coach, and they have to have your team has to trust you and your decisions. Because look at the defense. The defense was really good too. So
it was not that good.
It was really good before they had 12 injuries on their their other starters. So I mean, but then so that's to say that only Aaron Glenn and only Ben Johnson are the reason why Dan Campbell is still a head coach. Because right? Because I honestly think Dan Campbell out of these four, I might even put I'd even move the Vikings up above the Packers or put them right with the Packers as far as head coach.
Defense, Kevin O'Connell is a really good coach.
Yes,
he got him to 14-3 last year with Sam Darnold.
And honestly, their team was not that good talent wise. No. I think he did a lot for that team. Like
absolutely,
I would almost put him at the top.
Yeah.
I
like Kevin
but anyway,
O'Connell.
Let's move on.
Yeah, so we could talk another hour just about the head coaches of this division.
We could. I just have to throw in. I do have to throw in that I met Dan Campbell at a Tigers baseball game last year. One of the nicest guys. And if it wasn't Dan Campbell, he looked exactly like him.
and he was proud. And he was proud to look like Dan Campbell.
My God.
Yeah, that's right. Detroit.
I'm sure he bought one of those products off of you too, there, Leatherwood. So. All right, let's keep moving on. So, yeah, Kevin O'Connell is pretty killer. So, the biggest X factor with the Vikings is going to be how is McCarthy going to do? So, I'm looking at this team. I think McCarthy's going to take another year or two to develop, but I think he's going to be there. So, to me, the X factor player or players on the Vikings is Justin Jefferson, but he's dealing with the hamstring soft tissue issue, right, as you guys were talking about. And I think McCarthy. This team is going to live and die on those two players. So those are the X factor players.
And you said, did you say Addison is suspended as well?
Yep, Addison is suspended for what, the first
3 games?
Three games. So it's not terrible, but I mean, that's a lot.
It's a lot, and the Vikings have the 7th hardest schedule in the NFL. So
they need every weapon they can get.
It's funny because every team in this division is in, I'm pretty sure, the top 15 hardest schedules just because they're in this division. It's insane.
Yep. So let's move on to my beloved Bears. Yeah, buddy.
Stop Bears!
Stop Bears! All right, these guys had a 5-12 record. It derailed after the Fail Mary last year against the Redskins.
Oh, God, that was the turning point.
And you know what? That was the turning point of the season. Thank goodness Eberfart is out of here. The guy was terrible. Worst coach the Bears have ever had.
No, not even close.
One of the worst. Yes, one of the worst, dude. I'm telling you. Him and Dick Duran. So listen, man, the Bears have the 2nd hardest schedule. Brutal. Ben Johnson, new head coach. Caleb Williams actually has a competent coach. We saw a little bit about that against the Buffalo Bills there, Hollywood. He looked pretty good on that first drive.
So this is preseason now.
Fact, and I'm going to call this. This is my bold prediction for the Bears. Caleb Williams is going to break every single season record of Chicago. So notice this.
That's not tough to do, by the way.
No.
Yeah, honestly, this is a bold prediction.
4,000-yard passer.
Yes.
But I could easily see it happening.
It's happening. I'm telling you. It's going to happen.
Dude.
Eric Kramer had 3,800 yards. Bears are going to get a 4,000-yard passer this year.
He will get that this year.
The Bears
I would have guessed that Jay Cutler was the one that had the
more, ever.
Yeah, I would have guessed that Jay Cutler was the one that held the records.
Nope, it's Kramer. Kramer has the yards and touchdowns, and Cuddy has the completions and pass attempts. So I think he's going to break all 4.
I totally see that happening, dude.
So with the Bears, the biggest thing is who's going to be their starting left tackle. It's going to be the guy from Canada, Theo Benedict, is going to win over Braxton Jones.
Who in the heck is that?
That's exactly right, baby, and he's going to win. He's a stud,
I see Lucas Van Ness getting about 20 sacks every game versus the Bears this year.
You're smoking the bitch. So listen, man, I think the Bears are going to trade for Trey Hendrickson. I think we're going to end up giving a second-round pick for him. And he's going
God,
to
that
be
would be
eating
crazy.
Jordan Love's lunch every week.
Yeah, right. We have a really good offensive line.
And
Once
you saw
you
we're
suck that.
loaded. We're loaded with weapons, Jaden.
Loaded with weapons. Trey Hendrickson would be your first good defensive player.
Does everyone not agree that the Bears are loaded with weapons?
On which side of the ball?
Yes.
Offensively,
Yes.
Offensively, I would agree.
Yes.
Probably one of the better rooms, to be honest, as far as weapons are concerned.
That just makes expectations even higher when they don't.
I mean,
Dude,
they got Colson Loveland. They've got DJ Moore. They've got Roma Dunze.
Luther Burden.
They've got DeAndre Swift, which is kind of a slept on back. He's not amazing, but he's not bad.
Yep.
He's no good.
And here's defensive
defensive line is what I worry about the most for the Bears.
Yep.
So Trey Hendrickson should be someone they go after.
Yep.
But then you know exactly who to double team every single game.
Yeah. So I mean they've got, some definite young guys, hopefully on that defensive line that's going to step up. So we'll see. But the X factor for the Bears is going to be Caleb Williams.
100%.
All right, let's move on to my least favorite team in this division, the Packers. The Packers have the sixth hardest schedule in the NFL.
I heard they actually had the easiest schedule out of these four teams.
Well, here's the thing: the Packers and the Bears need to figure out how to get division wins because they were both 1-6 last year. So
yeah, it was
going to
bad.
be a big thing for them.
It was bad.
And here's the biggest problem with the Packers coming out the gate: it's Jordan Love's slow starts. So notice this, guys. In 2023, the first 5 games, Jordan Love had a 55% completion rate, 1,083 yards, 8 touchdowns, 6 picks, 77% or 77.3 passer rating.
God, that's terrible.
It's terrible. 2024, first 5 games, 61% completion rate, 1,280 yards, 13 touchdowns, 7 picks, 91 passer rating. So that's what is really hurting the Packers out of the gate is Jordan Love's slow starts.
I'll just put this in. If there's any Bengals fans listening on this podcast, they know exactly what I'm talking about. Matt LaFleur is known for not starting his starters in preseason, which always ticks me off every year because the Packers. Do any of you remember when the Packers got blown out by Jameis Winston's Saints a couple years ago with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
It was awful.
So games like that make no sense, right? Because the Packers went on to win. They were the number 1 seed that year. And yet they got blown out by that Saints team. And it's because in Matt LaFleur's entire history of coaching Packers, he does not play his starters in the preseason. Mm-hmm. And the same with the Bengals. The Bengals always start off super slow. They look rusty in the first couple weeks. It looks bad. And so it does make me mad because I'm like, it makes no sense. But I totally understand those numbers. Those numbers are legit because this is the first time this guy's actually playing in NFL, any sort of legit snaps in 8 months.
What was the year that Aaron Rodgers spelled out relax?
Yes.
That was one of my favorite moments. That was one of my favorite moments of his career.
Relax, guys. Just relax. Ugh, I can't stand him. He's terrible.
I love him. I love him, baby.
Ayahuasca.
Thank God he's in the Steelers team, man. That's terrible. All right, so here's my X Factor pick for the Packers. Jaden may or may not agree with it. I think it's going to be Matthew Golden, and the reason I say that
love it
is because the Packers freaking need a number 1 wide receiver to step up and kick rear end.
Yep.
They've got a lot of talented wide receivers, but, man, they just need one to step up, and Golden's got to do it. Period.
Dude, I'm 100% in agreement with you. There's a couple names you could put out, but if there are any people that watch the Packers because they like them or hate them, in the first preseason game where actually the starters did start, they had 7 drops. Mm-hmm. I feel like in the first 3 quarters it was, and this was a problem last year. Guess who didn't drop the ball once? It was Matthew Golden.
Yep.
I agree with Dabs here. It's the Packers, if they are going to be good, and I feel like this was with any team. You need a guy when it's third down
Yep.
and you need someone to trust it to not drop the ball. You
Yep.
need a guy. So I agree. It's Matthew Golden if that's the guy who's to
He
step
needs
up.
to be the Devontae
See the new
Adams.
Randall Cobb?
I hope not.
Yeah. He needs to be a Devontae Adams clone.
He needs
man.
to be a Devontae Adams.
Hands down. Devontae Adams dominated.
So you think that he will take over #1 target share from Jaden Reed?
So I'm gonna say yes, just for the
Yes.
fact that Jaden Reed has been a slot player most of his career.
Yeah.
And honestly, coaches will say things, but what they do during games is really telling. And during the season last year, Matthew Golden only played 37% of snaps, which is crazy to say, but they never trusted him to be on the field when they had 12 personnel to block. He was mainly a slot guy. Matthew Golden seems to be an outside guy. I believe he will be the target share monster this year.
All right, so here's a fun fact. Who do you think has more targets last year? Jaden Reed or Jamison Williams?
Oh.
Jaden Reed.
J-Mo.
You are both incorrect.
Oh.
Jamison Williams, 91 targets in the regular season. Jaden Reed, 75.
Huh.
Dang.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
All right. So, yes, I think the Packers are going to do well. I think they're going to finish second in the division. And they're going to basically mirror the record that they had last year. So, I think they're going to
see
do
that.
All right. So, let's move on to these Lions, our beloved Lions. Ugh.
Love them.
Love the Lions.
You know what? Listen, man, I don't hate this team. I respect this team. I respect the Pack. I respect every team in this division, honestly.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell has turned this team around incredibly. They were 15-2 last year. I think they're going to regress this year.
Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've lost both of their big coordinators, Johnson and Glenn, including a lot of the smaller important coordinators that went. Some went to the Bears, some went to the Jets.
Frank Ragnow.
Yeah, they've
retired.
They've got pillaged, man. They've got pillaged.
Yep.
So we're going to see how they do. So they've won 2 NFC North titles in a row. I think they're going to win a third. So they're going to three-peat. But here's the thing. Can they stay healthy? They're already getting major injuries again. They lost, Ragnow?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what the offense is going to look like. Are they going to be run first, run heavy, pass heavy? We just don't know.
I think
they're so balanced, though, it won't matter.
Yeah, they click with high octane over there.
The defense is what worries me more than the offense. I know the offense is going to be good.
Yeah.
And you know Jared Goff's going to put over 4,000 yards up again, probably 30-plus touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He's underrated, man. He just is. Like, as much as I hate on every quarterback in this division other than Love, Goff tore up the Packers last year, man. He was ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think Ben Johnson got more out of Goff than McVay did, honestly.
Yep.
McVay, he took McVay's team to the Super Bowl, but I think he plays better under Ben Johnson, and we'll see how he does with the Dan Campbell team.
What do you think? Who do you think is going to be the 1A this year, though, and 1B? Gibbs and Montgomery.
Oh, it's Gibbs.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's been running more with as the 1A in practices and training camp and everything like that. So he might get the lion's share, the David Montgomery share of the workload this year, but with his hyper efficiency.
Oh, it's insane.
What are the odds that Jahmyr Gibbs kicks it into another gear and leads the league in rushing yards?
I support that.
I see it, dude. I see it. He is so good.
He's good. I don't know if he's going to lead the league in yards.
Maybe not in rushing yards, all-purpose yards. Let's call it
all-purpose
yards.
Yeah, I mean he's like he plays with like Kamara like intensity and efficiency.
But he's faster.
Yes.
He's so fast, dude.
His cuts, man.
Precise.
They make me sit there in my seat and go, oh.
Yeah, he's like Bijan,
I
man. Bijan
just
takes that one cut and he's like gone, bro.
I
You
think
know?
so the top 100 NFL players just came out, and all the players that were talking about Jameer, all they said was he was the fastest running back in the league.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, this is the guy where if he could get one carry that goes right, he's going for 50.
Yeah.
And I could totally see it, man.
Yeah.
And for fantasy, if David Montgomery gets hurt at all this year,
to the moon with Gibbs.
Oh,
Gibbs
To the
Gibbs
moon.
is in contention for the best running back in
Especially
the
with
league
that
in
offensive
fantasy.
line. That's one of the
Yep.
best offensive lines even without Frank, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
It's unreal.
Who would you rather have from a fantasy standpoint as your RB1? Would you rather have Gibbs? Would you rather have Saquon
Hmm.
or Janty?
Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Hands down.
Well, that was quick.
I believe
Which
in the
feels
Saquon.
wrong,
Yeah.
but I do believe Saquon will regress.
Mm-hmm.
He has to.
History presents it
Yeah.
to be so. So it's we have to kind of trust the stats on that a little bit.
The only running back that has like proved father time wrong is Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that's true. That boy keeps running for 1,000 every year, doesn't he?
So Dabs, talk a little bit about the Lions defense, because that's what I'm a little worried about. What do you think the Lions defense could be this year?
I think it's going to be, if they stay healthy, I think it's going to be nasty. Aiden Hutchinson is going to have double-digit sacks. He may have 18 to 20, dude.
Dude,
He
he's
was
so
on
good.
pace to break the record when he got injured last
That
year.
made me so sick.
He is
Yeah.
sick, and in preseason and in like training camp, he is wrecking everybody. So I say he
Yeah.
may break the record this year, bro. And I think if they stay healthy, the secondary might be their weakness, but if they can stay healthy, I've seen them playing Amon-Ra and J-Mo pretty tight. I think they're going to be pretty good, dude.
I mean, their safety, they have one of the best safety duos in the
Yep.
league. Brian
Branch and Kirby
Branch
Joseph.
and
I know.
Kirby Thomas
Yeah,
are
it's
just
sick,
legit.
man.
And Kirby Joseph, they're legit, but I worry about Terrion Arnold in their cornerbacks. But other than that, the Lions have the potential to make a bounce back on
Yeah,
defense.
but Arnold
for sure.
looks improved, man. I've been seeing him in camp in the videos guarding Amon-Ra, and he's step with Amon-Ra. So we'll see how it goes. But my X factor for the Lions may be a little bit different from what you guys think. Gibbs is the obvious choice, right? I mean, stud. I mean, there's just no questions asked about Gibbs. But my X factor is Jameson Williams. I think
I agree.
If he takes that next step this year, which I think he's going to, he's looked sick in camp and preseason.
Mhm.
Good Lord, man, the Lions may go to the Super Bowl or may challenge the Eagles for it. It's gonna be pretty sick. So
Let me ask you this then. With that being said, because we know what Amon-Ra is. We know what Gibbs and Montgomery are. You know, we know what Sam Laporta is. And with all of these offensive weapons, if you think Jameson Williams steps it up, is Jared Goff top 3 MVP candidate? Because he's going to have to put up numbers to make that happen.
yeah, I think he's going to throw for over 4,500 yards. I think he's going to throw 30 plus touchdowns.
They had 65 last year, so there's going to be a regression for touchdowns a little bit, at least, definitely with Ben Johnson going.
They had one of the highest touchdown totals in NFL history. It was top 3 or something.
I mean, you've got two guys on the same team in the top 10 being drafted in fantasy right now, with Gibbs going overall 5th, Amon-Ra 9th.
Yep.
Yeah.
You don't see that on any other team. Unless I'm looking at it wrong, you don't see that on any other team.
Yeah.
That is insane.
That's just not
all
what
right.
you see normally.
Well, thank you, Dabs, for the NFC North. Let's go to Jaden for the West. What do you got for us, Jaden?
All right, guys. Let me try to share the screen, see what you guys think. That is not what I want to share. All right.
The Cardinal, that's a Cardinal, that's for sure.
So I got the West, and it's going down my reference right there.
Oh yeah.
I got the West, and this is an interesting division. And I hate the 49ers. So I hate putting them here because they are the Packers' kryptonite. If the 49ers did not exist, on this planet, the
We got
49ers
20
or
Super
the
Bowls.
Packers would have at least 2 more Super Bowls. At least in my opinion. You can argue with me on that, but they're the worst. But the fun fact is the 49ers have a top 5 easiest schedule this year, which is crazy because I'll read you off some of their schedule. They start week 1 versus the Seahawks, and I think that's an easy win. As you'll know as I go through this division, I have the Seahawks finishing last. Then they go to the Saints, who is one of the worst teams in the league. Easy win. Cardinals, I think the Cardinals may surprise them and split the division, but say they win the first one, that's 3-0. Then they go to the Jaguars. They are clearly a better team than Jaguars. There's 4-0. Then they go to the Rams. I can easily see this being their first loss. 4-2. Buccaneers. I'm super high on the Buccaneers this year. So say they go, or that would be 4-2. The Falcons, I think they're better, 5-2. Texans, I think they're better, 6-2. Giants, Rams again. Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, Titans, Colts, Bears, Seahawks. Like this is
Bears.
It sounds pretty easy.
This is an easy schedule right here. And so I'm going to explain why I have the 49ers and Rams where they are. Because I think in this division, these teams know each other so well. They know how to play each other. The Rams usually have the 49ers number. So I had them splitting division 3-3 because I think this is super tough division, but with how easy the 49ers schedule is, I really love, Purdy, Christian McCaffrey's healthy this year, Kittle's healthy, Ricky Pearsall's healthy for now. The only question mark is their wide receiver and backup running back rooms are devastated by injury. I don't know who the conditioning coach is for the 49ers, but he should be working at Arby's by now because this guy is horrible. Awful. Because the 49ers, it's every year you hear the story of who is hurt. But technically, if you look at the roster on defense, they have Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. They should have a competitive defense. So I have them going 12-5, going 3-3 with the division with how competitive it is. But this is the team I really want to highlight here, the Los Angeles Rams. And I think the only reason I have them this low is because of the injury scare with Stafford. Now, he did return to practice as of this week, but I really do worry about that because without Stafford, this team does not run. All right? If Jimmy Garoppolo is the starting quarterback for this team, which, by the way, I feel awful for Devontae Adams trying to escape Jimmy Garoppolo just to end up with him again if that does happen. Poor guy. But if Matthew Stafford starts the year, and this is what I have, if you see my bold predictions at the bottom, I have the Rams going to the NFC Championship game.
What?
And you might say that's crazy. I do not have the Packers going to the NFC Championship game this year. Yeah. I'm not that homer. I see them doing it just because the only team that the Eagles it felt like they were scared of last year was the Rams, which was weird. But the Rams just knew how to exploit them. They have the weapons. They have Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua.
It's like that every year.
Kyron Williams, a great offensive line, and I think their defensive front is going to improve even more. Jared Verse was the defensive rookie of the year last year. I think he's going to get even better. I love their defensive line with Kobe Turner and Go Vols with their right outside linebacker Kobe. What was his name? I don't even remember his name. I'm not even that big of a Vols fan. Byron Young. Byron Young is from the Vols at right outside linebacker. I think the Rams have a very good team. They could be super competitive, but with how their schedule is not as easy as the 49ers. They got to play the likes of the Texans, the Eagles, the 49ers, the Ravens, the Buccaneers, the Lions. So they got some tough matchups this year. So I have them a little bit lower, but I think they will go farther than the 49ers, which is weird to say.
All right.
Now I'll move on to the Cardinals. I'm higher on the Cardinals, not on defense, but I think the Cardinals will have a sneaky good offense this year. And I think my bold prediction for the Cardinals is they have a top 5 offense. And a bad scenario is that Kyler gets traded next year. So
that's what I started laughing at.
Each of these plus and minuses is how it could go good and how it could go bad. So for the 49ers, I had Ricky Pearsall going for 1,200 yards and 100 catches. I have that because he's the only healthy wide receiver right now.
Kidding.
And then I have Brandon Ayuk isn't on the team next year if it goes badly, and I can easily see that they paid him too soon, and I never really liked Brandon Ayuk. I had the Rams going to the NFC Championship game, and the bad scenario was if Stafford does not play, they will miss the playoffs. Mm-hmm. But for the Cardinals, if everything works out right, they will have a top 5 offense. If you look at it, you have Kyler, who is, an explosive quarterback, dual rush. They have Marvin Harrison. Trey McBride was a monster last year. James Conner, one of the most underrated backs in the league. This could be a super explosive Cardinals team. And when you look at their schedule, they play some really flimsy defenses. They start the year out at Saints. Their defense, not going to be good.
The Aints.
Yes, the Aints. The second team is the Carolina Panthers, or the Pansies. Their defense is going to be one of the worst in the league. And then they go the 49ers, the Seahawks. The Titans defense is not going to be good. The Colts defense, in my opinion, is not that good. Then they play the Packers, Cowboys, Seahawks again, 49ers again, then Jaguars, Bucks, Rams, Texans, Falcons, Bengals, and Rams. So if you're looking at this division, it's a lot of teams with not good defenses. I think this team's going to end up putting a lot of points up. And in the past, or last year at least, the Cardinals surprised some of these teams in the division. I think it was the Rams most of all. Like, they came out and sort of like punched them in the mouth when in a game that they shouldn't have been in. So I have them going 9-8, but missing the playoffs. But in my bad scenario, Kyler gets traded next year. It goes bad, and they realize Kyler's not the guy for them. He's playing too much Call of Duty. He's not focused. I could easily see a scenario where they decide he's not our guy and move to the next option. So that is my bad scenario. And then last, I have it. What was that? Was that Hollywood?
No, go ahead. I was just gonna add something stupid.
What are you gonna say?
Well, he was not gonna sign his next contract because he couldn't see on top of the desk to write his name.
Oh my god!
That's why he's not gonna be on the team.
God.
Okay, to be fair though, that does play into it. He's so short. He could. Like, that's my only worry in fantasy. If we come back to that, we are a fantasy podcast. My only worry with Marvin Harrison Jr. is that he dominates over the middle. And Kyler Murray, it's such a stupid thing, cannot see over the offensive line to throw it over the middle. It frustrates the heck out of me. I had him in 2 leagues last year, and it was the worst thing ever because he would not throw over the middle to Marvin Harrison because he could not see him.
Is 5'10". Do you believe that?
I knew he's not nearly as short as it seems, but when he's standing next to gigantic men that are,
he looks like he's 5'6".
Yeah, he is almost a foot smaller than some of the guys that he is behind.
They need to stop taking pictures of him next to his offensive line because it just looks bad. And also when he runs, he looks like a toddler that has stolen something that it shouldn't have running away from you.
They need a smaller cameraman to shoot the angle at an upward angle.
All right,
that way he looks taller because he has such a back.
All right, this thing is going south quick, and
so
to take us to the south, we have Hollywood coming up with the NFC South.
I didn't even talk about the Seahawks. The Seahawks, I have at the last of the division. I'm not a believer in Sam Darnold. I'm sorry. Their offensive line is
I don't
not
think
that
anybody
good.
is.
And part of the reason I'm not believing in Sam Darnold in Seattle is because their offensive line, even though they drafted Gray Zabel in the first round, I don't believe will be in the top half of the league in terms of offensive line. I don't believe Kenneth Walker can stay healthy. This defense, although the talent has underperformed year after year, which is really weird. Their defensive line is sort of lacking. So I have them going 7-10, and 2-4 in the division because I really don't think they can keep up with the talent in the division. And so my upside pick and my downside pick for this team is Jackson Smith and Jigba is the number one fantasy wide receiver this year. That's if things do go right.
Is this across the
JSN
league?
has the
across the
fantasy
league.
wide
Not on the
across the league.
Seahawks. In the league.
Top fantasy wide receiver this year. This is if it goes right. If you think about it, JSN had a great target share last year. He had 111 catches, and
He's a slot receiver.
Okay, he's gonna get on the outside more. Who is really challenging his targets this year?
No one
on the outside.
It's the
Metcalf's gone and Lockett's
ghost of Cooper Kupp is challenging him. Yeah. This guy could see a 28% target share. This is just if things go well. All right, these are not the most likely things to happen. All right.
Well, the downside he's going to be fighting Jake Bobo. You know, Jake Bobo's coming for that number one spot.
Real ones know Jake Bobo. So the down scenario for the Seahawks is Sam Darnold does not work out, and he sees ghosts because of how bad the offensive line is, and they move to Jalen Milroe as the starter because he could run halfway through the season. And I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing. I like Jalen Milroe as a running prospect. He just needs to get better at passing. But obviously, this would not be a win for the Seahawks. They paid Sam Darnold a bunch of money. They clearly want him to be the starter. So this would not be the win for them. But yeah, I have the 49ers going number one, but the Rams going to the championship game, the 49ers losing in the first round. So that is what I got for the NFC West.
Right. Very good. Very good. Concise information. We really like it. I will say before we move on to the South, show a little Kyler Murray support here since we dogged on him a little bit. Every year that he has, well, I just did on another league Sunday as well, right after you. That's right. I almost drafted your entire team, by the way. We'll talk about that later.
And you were dogging me for that Kyler Murray pick too.
That's the mental games that I like to play with people. But anyway, every season that Kyler has played in all games, he has a minimum of 3,700 passing yards.
Yep.
He is lights out for consistency. So if you're the type of player like I am, I like to know what my guys are going to do. That way it helps me strategize. Every year that he is healthy, he's minimum 20 touchdowns, 3,700 yards. Looks like he's probably going to bring in on average about 500 yards rushing to add on top of that.
Easily.
He's got 31 career rushing touchdowns in 6 seasons. So you can easily rely on 5 per game.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that, he's a great player from a statistic standpoint, statistically. So let's move on to the South. Wrap it up with Hollywood here. See what he's got.
All right, so we have the South. It's going to not take very long. I'll tell you that much right now. Not a great division. We got a couple of outstanding, some teams to talk about, and some others that we wish we could forget. Let's be honest. We're going to start off with the Buccaneers. That is probably the hottest topic in this division. I have them going 9-8. I have them kind of coming back a little bit from last year, production wise. And here's the reason: their offensive coordinator is gone. Okay. And there's a reason that he's now the head coach over there at Jacksonville. So Duval, I
Stop,
mean,
dude. You're haunting me.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
But I still think they have an amazing team. Like I said, I stopped you because I want to talk about these guys. Their depth is amazing. We're sitting here looking at Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, he's still dealing with that same I think it's the same ankle that he had injured from last season is still bothering him right now.
Same thing.
Two different operations on it, so we already know that's going to take some time to heal properly. But and then Jalen McMillan, did you guys see that during this last postseason? He landed on his head.
Nasty.
Terrible neck injury.
Yeah, it was nasty, dude.
So, but who else to take the field than probably the best rookie wide receiver to come out of this draft class and make a Buka?
Yes.
Okay? I am interested to watch this guy play. This is going to be something, especially right there with Mike Evans. This team in the wide receiver room, if they could all be healthy, I think that they are going to be a top wide receiver room at the top end. Okay, that's like I said, I see them taking some steps back, but if I'm proven totally wrong, and I would love to be, because trust me, they are a lot of fun to watch. I want them to go to the moon. I want to see all these guys go crazy, and then behind Baker. I love Baker. I can't believe that the Browns got rid of him in the first place, right? I mean, they took him to.
I can.
He took him to.
Everybody can.
We can believe it,
dude. The Browns don't. The Browns are like addicts, dude. They can't help themselves.
They have to get rid of the good players, and they have to sign the criminals. That's what they do.
They love being bad.
And so
they run from stability in their lives, so they are like addicts.
They do, yes, absolutely. And I think their defense is middle of the road. I think that's what it's going to be. Maybe a little up, maybe a little upper, but I think a middle of the road is probably a good safe bet. But then
easily fair.
But look at their running back room. Bucky Irving was a revelation last year. Buddy, I loved watching Bucky. He was so much fun to watch. But then they've got Rachaad White, I don't know.
Tucker.
And Sean
Tucker
had
a great game last year.
So that was what I was going to say was Rachaad White. If Rachaad White gets hurt, Sean Tucker and Bucky Irving, I could see them being almost a little bit of that Jameer and Montgomery, that power and that elusiveness, because Bucky Irving's a little bit smaller of a back, so he's not going to be able to take the lion's share of the work and stay healthy. We saw what he did last season when he got that huge snap share in that one game, and he walked off the field wrapped up in gauze and bandages and just already favoring different things. And then the next week, his snap share went way down because they saw that they could not play him like that. So in fantasy, I really like Bucky, but he is going really high in fantasy to be somebody who's not a bell cow in an offense that loves to throw.
He's almost going at his ceiling.
Yes, absolutely he is. But he is a year two back. And so if Rachaad White ends up getting injured and Sean Tucker comes in behind him, I think Sean Tucker takes Rachaad White's carries or his snap share, but I think it's going to go a little even more lopsided into Bucky's favor. I don't think they're going to give him everything what Rachaad White had. I think it's just going to go up for Bucky, but I don't know. We'll have to see with that. But I really love the running back room with them because they're just a lot of fun.
What do you think of from a tight end standpoint?
Cade Otton, he was in fantasy last year. He was serviceable.
Only when
at best
there was injuries. And if you think about it, it was only when Godwin and Mike Evans both missed time and he was the only guy to go to. So I personally would think he's not serviceable unless there are some more injuries. It'll be a Buka and Mike Evans to start for sure.
Well, let's
how many double digit fantasy weeks did Cade Otton put up last year?
4.
5.
Wow.
Boom.
He is not serviceable in my book.
No, I wouldn't draft him.
but he is, like you said, if you see the injury bug start hitting the Bucks, you know where to
Very
turn
good
to.
point.
Oh yeah.
Very good
And
point.
they're already starting out with Jalen McMillan and Chris Godwin hurt.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's something to think about to start the season off. Mike Evans, they are one wide receiver injury away from Kate Otten and Emeka Egbuka.
Yep.
Okay.
That's true.
And Kate Otten's the one that's got the time with Baker Mayfield. So that's something to think about for waivers come early to
always always a great defense also.
Yeah, they
Hassan
always
Reddick.
end up like their guys aren't like their names don't stand out. They're not all world or anything, but yeah, that's why I think that they're on maybe the upper portion of like the middle tier. But yeah, I mean they're Antoine Winfield, like he's great too. So I mean there's like they've got some good people over there. I don't think that they're all world by any means, but
I mean a little preview to our sleepers, breakouts, and bust episodes. Emeka Egbuka's name could come up in one of those categories, you know.
Yeah. So next we will move to the Falcons. And so I have actually the Falcons and the Bucks trading wins and losses this season. So that's why I have them 5-1, because I think it's going to be a pretty easy sweep of the Panthers and the Saints. But the Falcons, I have them kind of going up this year. Let me get back over on this. But they are going to be a fun team to watch. We have Bijan, who the running joke with Bijan is that the man, he even if he's hurt or he's sick, he's still going to play.
Yeah.
Was it last year he played with the flu or something? Yeah. And, I mean, he wasn't super.
He had a headache.
Yeah, a headache, like just feeling ill. But I really like the Falcons. They have some good weapons on that team. They just need some proper play calling, and they need some things to kind of go their way this year. Like they need to happen to them what happened with the Lions, right? The Lions, they got a good head coach. They got a bunch of first-round draft picks for Stafford that came into play, but some things kind of fell. The pieces fell where they needed to, and the Lions ended up being really good, right? Obviously, you guys have them at the top of your boards there. I think the Falcons have the path of getting there. Okay, they saw the future in the cards with Michael Penix, right? Even though they paid Kirk Cousins, they still drafted Michael Penix, which every Falcons fan was like, we're going to die. Okay, like that is the stupidest decision to ever be made. But now look at him. He's starting this year because Kirk Cousins couldn't do the job last year. And in fact, he came in at the end of the year and he was looking, pretty decent for a guy that was sitting on the bench the whole year. And then they have one of the best running backs in the league, and for fantasy, probably the best running back this season, in Bijan Robinson. They've got Drake London, and then they've got somebody who needs to step up this year in Kyle Pitts. But there's been interesting talks from Michael Penix. Michael Penix, in interviews, talks about Kyle Pitts as, you saw how many times we were getting Kyle Pitts the ball? We'll get used to it because that's going to be happening a lot. Yeah. And so
I feel like that's a distraction though. Like
if it is, then okay.
Why would you just give away for free to everybody your offensive strategy? That's almost code for don't draft him.
Well, and the thing too about Kyle Pitts is he is still incredibly young. And so he still has a lot.
He's only 24.
He's only 24 is the crazy part.
Yeah. And so he has a lot of life left in him. And I think that now he's got the best quarterback that he's had up to this point. Sure. And the legs on Michael Penix are going to open up some different things for this offense that they haven't had for years. And so I'm looking forward to watching them play. Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, they're not exactly names that kind of jump out at you or anything, but they're okay.
Mooney, man.
Darnell Mooney is slept on, and as Dabs will tell you, he is underrated, dude.
Yep.
I heard last year, and I will continue to just hear it, but I'm because I will not say that myself. I think
he finished with 900 yards last year.
Well,
he's a great bench player, man.
He could be, but he's currently dealing with an injury too.
Yeah, he's so.
Yeah, I mean, I like them. I like the Falcons as a whole. I don't think they're going to be as good as the Bucks, and I don't see them making the playoffs. But all it takes is them beating the Bucks in my predictions, beating the Bucks twice instead of once, and they flip the script on them, and then they're making the playoffs. So I don't see them doing it, but there's a path to it. Now we'll probably wrap these Panthers and Saints up pretty quickly. Panthers, they 3-14, 1-5 in the division, and they suck. They're terrible. Their defense is awful. Their offense is definitely better with Teterow and McMillan.
Yep.
But
they've also got a midget for a quarterback.
He's just like
Kyler if he didn't run.
Yeah. But
if Kyler couldn't run, that's Bryce Young.
The only upside I can see for them is that last season when he came in, he played the lights out the last 5 games of the season last year. So there was a way for, like, there was a glimmer of hope for Panthers fans, right? And so I can see that kind of happening again this year, but their offensive line's not great. Their running back room, they paid Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard was honestly
great back for fantasy wise.
And he deserves the money he got. But and now they've got Rico Dowdle behind him. So is Chuba going to be a bell cow, or are they going to split with Rico Dowdle? Because Rico Dowdle was good when he was on the Cowboys, and then he got shipped over.
It sounds like Rico has been getting a lot of the passing down work. At least that's what it looks in preseason. Now, that's not saying that's how it'll translate in the regular season, but Chuba's never been that great as a receiving back. So
well, and yeah, exactly. I mean, he's a big bodied guy, so he's definitely a pass blocker, but he's pretty powerful as well. Mm-hmm. So definitely underrated back.
Hollywood, I want you to feel free to fully let loose on this next team, because you know who is watching.
I'm fully aware.
Shout out to this next team and fans.
That's right. Any Saints fans listening, listen up.
Yeah, because honestly, guys,
we saved the worst for last.
It is the worst for last, and you guys know I love you, but I really hate to watch the Saints. They make my eyes bleed. So I have them I actually have that. I'm looking at this and I see a potential upset. Okay. First game of the season, Cardinals. I have them upsetting.
Based on what?
Based off of pure, I couldn't do 2-15 for the Saints this year, because they still do have Chris Olave, and they have Alvin Kamara. Like and Raheed Shaheed, like they do still have some weapons over there that can make big plays. I'm not going to sit here and say that Tyler Suck or whatever. Yes, Shuck.
Tyler Suck
is going to be a revelation for them. But honestly, how many times do you see a guy catch the ball at the line of scrimmage and then he breaks it for 30 or 40 yards down the field? You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot on the weapons themselves.
That was 5 years ago, though.
So I could see the same thing happening with the Saints with this very first game. That was the only one I gave them out of this.
Where are they getting their other 2 wins? That's my question. I mean, if you give them one, because maybe they went on a last-second field goal or some nonsense or something, where are they getting their other 2 wins?
I gave them the Panthers and I gave them the Titans.
Oy.
So keep in mind they've got Kellen Moore too from the Eagles. So they have overrated. So we'll see how he does.
Well, yeah.
I don't care if they have the unretired Jimmy Johnson from the Miami days.
I really don't.
They're not winning
making a difference. But...
So my pick to be the worst team in football this year is the Saints, because and I think. So we had joked about the Browns and everything, but I think Joe Flacco is way better than whatever they got.
For sure.
Absolutely.
At least the Browns have Myles Garrett, and it sounds like Quinshon Judkins is going to play. They have Jerry Jeudy. The Saints have one of the worst offensive lines of the year. Tyler Suck And I really think their defense is going to be one of the worst in the leagues. Like, this team is going to be sad to watch.
To all you Saints fans who are watching, sorry, they suck.
Yeah, it's a big sorry, but a big not sorry, because honestly, they lived the life for a while with Drew Brees. Okay, and I'm not gonna feel bad at all that they go through this, because honestly, you try and go to the Super Bowl for 4 years straight. You know what I mean? And then not win any of them, and then you tell me what pain is. So they can live this season out a little bit, but you know what? They're on track to grab probably the number 1 overall pick next year.
Arch Manning,
definitely the number 1 overall pick next
year. Arch Manning.
Obviously now that acquisition is not going to be the turning point for the Saints. They've got to make some big changes, because there's deficits on both sides of the ball in the coaching staff. They've got to do a whole overhaul to change some stuff that they have going on right now. But the crazy thing about the fact that they drafted Suck this season, they drafted.
Hey, he's a Louisville guy. All right, he's all right. He's all right in our book. He's a
no, dude. Have you even watched his college tape? He's not. He's awful.
No, I didn't get the games down here where I live, unfortunately.
Oh, well, don't worry. There'll be better Louisville quarterbacks in your future.
Yeah, but they drafted him late. Was it round 5, I believe?
It was round 2. He's a
round 2 pick 40.
He's a second round pick, dude. They picked him over Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. Yeah, because Sanders was late. So anyway, like I was saying, was that they went with this guy, but they knew that he's not going to be the answer. They're literally just buying time, and so we'll see how that ends up for them ultimately as a coaching staff, because there's probably
how many games into the season until they get those paper bags back. I want the fans to go like it was in the glory days, where they cut the eyes out and put the
6 games,
the trash bags on their face.
When they're sitting there at 0-6, that's when it happens.
Like I said, I have them winning the first game, but after that, let me look back at how I did this here.
Is this like they win on a butt fumble type thing?
That's the only way they'd win, because I'm like, how do you even beat the Cardinals, man?
I have them losing. I think that's 11 straight after their first win.
God, that's 1-11
right there.
Yeah. So let's just look at their schedule for a moment, okay? Let's look at
their schedule.
They have the Arizona Cardinals, who I think I'm just going to project them beating. I think, because I'm not as high on the Cardinals. I think they've got some good weapons, but I don't. So I think that they're going to get a late start into the season. Losing to the 49ers, losing to the Seahawks, losing to the Bills, losing to the Giants, losing to the Patriots, losing to the Bears, losing to the Bucs, losing to the Rams, and then losing to the Panthers because it's an away game. Okay, this is literally that thing. Then
they're going to lose their bye week.
Then they're going to lose their bye week, because at that time, then everybody's done playing. They've already decided to buy their house in Tijuana and go and live down there. Then they lose the next game at the Falcons. And then they lose the next game at the Dolphins. And then they lose the next game at the Bucs.
I think they get destroyed by the Bucs.
So that I literally don't see a path for them to win another game until week 15 against their at-home game against the Panthers.
Oh, okay. So sad.
So how many games does it take until we fire the head coach?
That's what I'm guessing, and I bet that he's gone by the bye week.
I think he makes it through the whole year. It's his first year, guys.
Frick him, dude.
Oh yeah, it is Kellen Moore.
Yeah, there's no way they're gonna fire.
Okay,
they're not gonna can him.
Kellen Moore is overrated.
Yes, he's overrated, but they're not gonna fire him.
Well, let's see what happens, because there's two sides of the ball, right? So there's an offense. They know the offense is gonna suck.
They did pick up Chase Young.
Yeah. And they've got Carl Granderson, and they have probably I will say they might be number one in the naming category of their players because they have Kool-Aid McKinstry.
Oh, it's the best name in the league.
He's not even that good, though.
No, he's
It
not.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
His name.
That's the best name.
Okay, if you're number one in vibes and your quarterback is named Shucked, you could get shucked all you want.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Well, exactly. So, but that's
yeah,
where
they're gonna get shucked in the booty hole real good this year.
We're gonna see.
They got a great strong safety. Justin Reed's top notch.
Yeah, dude. Tyron Matthew saw this team and he was like, no, dude, I'm gonna retire. This team sucks that bad.
Yeah. The old honey badger couldn't take it over there any longer. No, but I could see if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen by the bye week. If not, then though, maybe he gave him a 3-year plan. I'll come and be your head coach, but here's my 3-year plan. Expect this year to be eye numbing, and he might have his job because of that, but we'll see. But that's
the only way he keeps it.
Yeah. So I do have a couple of bold predictions that we'll do really fast. I think that this year the Panthers, if they go worse than 3-14, Bryce Young doesn't have a job next year. Okay.
Yep.
I think that the Falcons, Bijan Robinson could be potentially offensive player of the year. Offensive player of the year. I think with the Bucks, the Abuka could be the offensive rookie of the year if everything goes right for him. And I could see a path with that, and without there being much of a change right now. Like he could go to the number 1 or number 2 spot very easily over there.
Yep.
And then with the Saints, I was hard to find like a bold take. There's not really anything bold about the Saints, Maybe their color. There's the gold. Maybe it pops against the black. That's about as bold as it gets with the Saints right now.
Drew Brees comes out of retirement.
Yeah.
Brees himself.
Yeah. Or Alvin Kamara is gone next year.
Yeah, he has to be. He's been there forever.
That's so sad though, because he's
in
such
the
an
era.
underrated back, dude. Like people will look back and not appreciate Kamara for how good he was. Like even with the Mark Ingram days, dude, him and Mark Ingram are arguably one of the best duos in NFL history.
Yeah, didn't he break the record for most catches by a running back? It was like 106.
Wild.
And also him and Ingram broke the record for most yards by a running back duo in NFL history.
Well, and didn't he set the record for most touchdowns by a running back in a single game?
Yes, with 6.
Yeah.
Like people are gonna forget how it's so sad how far the Saints have fallen, because like, man, they had everything, dude. You had Drew Brees, Michael Thomas, Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram.
They were loaded.
Jeez.
Oh well.
Say love.
Well, we have had a great episode. What else do we have to wrap this up with, guys? Any last final thoughts?
We had a song we were going to sing.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to start, Hollywood?
Oh god.
No, I come at the back end.
Oh, okay.
Man. Yeah.
Leatherwood, what is our next episode going to be about?
I don't know. Why don't you tell us, Greedy?
I'm pretty sure if our scheduling our people are correct, we have lots of people. Lots of payroll going on.
Lots of payroll. Yep.
Yeah, lots of penis enlargement buys that have been happening. So the money's coming in.
Oh yes, keep that money rolling in so we can keep the pumps a pumping.
The next episode
I've got
should
a Patreon. In fact,
our next episode should be our breakouts, bust, and sleepers for this fantasy season. We know y'all are drafting soon. This is the draft season, so we're gonna let you know who you should draft. If you want to be stupid and not listen to us, that's your prerogative. But
and guess who gets to host that episode?
Oh, is it my turn?
It's your turn, Greeny.
You are welcome to be the host. We will be rotating hosts from now on.
Hope you guys like Kings of Leon, because that's all.
We're going to try to get an endorsement deal with KOL, because this is KON.
James draft is going to be on fire.
That's right.
And then PEP, we're trying to get penis enlarger pumps on board as well. So lots to look forward to here.
Puts a real pep in your step.
It does. A little whistle in your giddy up.
Uh,
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
all right, have a good one.
See you guys.